Good evening. This is Tony Dottino. It's Friday evening. The week has gone by, and it is time for Live with Tony. And the good news is Michael Dottino and I were speakers at a hospitality conference for the Florida hospitality executives in finance and IT, information technology. And it was fantastic. We did a really great job in terms of preparing our presentations and talking to the host. And I did one on aligning the organization for success. And he did one, memory skills for business and personal life. And I've got to tell you, I can't be more proud of what he has done. As you know, he's done the Maximum Memory Mastery online course, which we continue to take excerpts from and present them to various groups that we have the pleasure of addressing. We did one earlier this week with the veterans at the villages. Fabulous. Great feedback. And he did one this morning. Fabulous. Awesome. I can't say enough about the interaction, the interest that these finance and IT people had in memory skills and how do you improve your memory and learning. It is a hot topic. All ages, people are interested in their memories and cognitive function. Had a lot of interaction on the differences between dementia and Alzheimer's, memory rhythms, brain's capacity for retaining information, how do we encode, how do we store, how do we recall. And it was just a thrill for me to sit in the back of the room and observe a room filled with executives from the hospitality group, the sports club group. So there were sports club groups, golf course management people there, and just sitting in the back and listening to the presentation and the dialogue that he had, the interest that he had from the audience was just fantastic. And what was some of the dialogue? So he does this, I talked about this on Wednesday, he does this great job on talking about the forgetting curve and the memory rhythms of what's the right cycle and the right timing to engage yourself in active memory, active learning. And he's just got some slides on that show the drops, and this is included in his online course, but listening to him talk to it in front of a live audience, I was just mesmerized by it. And it's like, wow, we've never heard this. And yet he's done some significant research on this. So it's solid research in terms of what he's able to share with people. And I've even talked about that in the last week. And the current research that's basically supporting what he has put together several years ago. It's just awesome. So a person that has a dad that's got early wanted to know the differences between Alzheimer's and dementia, and of course she's very concerned because a number of family members in dad's family have gotten it, and she's looking at, well, what are some things I can do with my memory and mental challenges and dealing with stress? You know, what can I do to help myself with avoiding, if it's possible, having dementia and Alzheimer's. So tell me what those differences are. And he did, God, I don't know that I've heard anybody explain those differences as simply and as basic as he did in terms of the impact that Alzheimer's has and the different types of dementia and what they have. And he pulled some of that from, I didn't say pulled, he's had experience in teaching a course on the Brain Fitness Academy that's being done by the Rosen Town Square here in Orlando. So that was one interesting dialogue. Then the learning curve, good dialogue on asking people, so how much of do you learn during a learning period? What should your learning period cycles be? So that was the first question. So how long should you stay in a learning cycle, or how long should your meetings be if you really want people to attend? So he was asking a group of executives, so how do you put together financial presentations or system presentations and present them to your audience of people that you want to take action? How long should you be talking to them? And what should a presentation look like? What elements should be contained in it? And how might you address a presentation, not for your purposes of presenting it, but for your purposes of ensuring that your audience is going to remember it. And boy, that was interesting. I don't know how many times I was in finance at IBM, and I thought about, my goodness, how am I going to present this in a way that people will retain it? Now, I'm not saying I put shoddy presentations together. I put lots of presentations and lots of charts, but I never had the thinking process that would say, how am I going to ensure that the people I'm presenting it to, and what could I do within the elements of it that would get them to remember it, not just during the presentation and the dialogue, but within a day forget 80% of it, which is the normal forgetting curve for people. So how could you beef that curve up so it stays longer than one day? And more importantly, how do you beef it up so it moves then from short-term to long-term memory? So he had a slide on that, and it was funny and fun to watch people and their response to what those learning curves look like when he put his graphs up, which again are in his online course. But the interesting part then was it was a room filled of senior people that were just mesmerized by what he was sharing with them and how it needed to get them to reflect on work that they're doing, especially in the times that we've had in hospitality with hotels struggling and closures and pandemics and financial performance being significant to them. So how important was it for them as senior leaders in their orgs to make sure systems requirements and system dates and timelines are presented to people in a way that they grab it and it's friendly to them? How well do the finance take numbers together, put them onto slides, and present them to their base of users, or not users, but of people in the org that need to take action on them? And so that was exciting for me to watch, and the interest in the dialogue we had there. Then they had people that are going for different certifications. I never realized in the hospitality world how many different certifications that the finance and the IT people have to go through, and the exams and or the tests that they pass, depending upon what level of professional achievement in their world do they want to accomplish and have. I just figure if you work in hospitality, right, you show up for work, you make sure rooms are clean, you make sure people get their food if they have menus, and their rooms are ready for accommodating. I mean, and if they're listening for 2 days in the conference, I just never understood the complexity of what these folks deal with in terms of certification levels, professional standards that they establish that brings them up the line at the different executive positions. And then how to go about these tests. Tests are given. And so whoever thinks of a hospitality person running a hotel or a resort or a spa within a hotel, whoever thinks about, gee, these people have to get tests also. They have to go for exams and study. They have to go in addition to their workload. And so that was an interesting conversation. So all in all, I found the conversations to be very lively, energetic, the interest very high, and Michael's ability to, first of all, put this together and get it for people so they could understand it, and then intelligent enough in a way presented to ask questions about it that you can tell were thoughtful in that he was capturing their interest, and then the questions that they were asking, just all, I sat there like a proud dad, but this is something he's been passionate about and has wanted to do for a long time. As I told the audience, until the grandkids were done with college, I was encouraging him to leave a well-paying job at Disney World. And so he's been putting his heart and soul into the research. And on the way home, I was asking him, where do you get this stuff? How do you pull this stuff forward? And he started giving me his lessons on how he reads all the different scientific research and papers and sorts out and books. And just until we hit traffic on I-4, I was all ears and all alert. But as we came through the backcountry, we were at a resort spa in the middle of dinosaurs and oceans and fossils. That they have a big little museum that they have at the resort there, and the water flow and the boats and fishing and what have you. So We were in the middle of Florida, in the middle of what I call no man's land, with lots and lots of trees and water about us, and a very nice swimming pool, and they have some of the world living golf courses, and it was a resort in Bowling Green. So, bam, here we were in this resort, and the rooms were gorgeous, and the resort was wonderful, and he's doing this fantastic presentation. So how does it get better than that? It could have been a little better because I had a few people talking to me in the conference room, and I missed the primary elements of lunch. And they did have some chicken sandwiches left over, but I just am not into chicken sandwiches. So had a little bit of salad and a few chips, and that was lunch. So I will be having an early dinner this evening. But what I got home a little while ago, and as I always try to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, somewhere in the 5 o'clock hour, do my Live with Tony's. So that's my report for you this week. I know I owe you something from Wednesday. I'll pick that up, but my head was totally focused on the conference that we just spent 2 days on, and it was a really, really fun conference to be at, and really terrific. And I did do a lot of masking, so I'm still COVID sensitive, so I did keep my mask on as much as possible. Did hide in the back of the room and as far away from people if I could and be reasonable. But when I was up in front of the room, obviously doing my presentation on aligning an organization for success, can't always keep your mask on. But I did all right, and we're here. So the good news is it's weekend time. And have a wonderful weekend, and I will be back if all goes well and we stay safe and we stay healthy and well. I shall be back with you on Monday evening with my next session of Live with Tony.